You open Instagram. Someone from your high school just bought a house. Someone you went to college with got promoted. And someone you've never even met has 200,000 followers. You close the app, but the feeling doesn't close with it. Suddenly, your own life feels smaller. Your job feels less impressive. Your progress feels slower. Nothing about your life actually changed in the last 30 seconds, but you feel like you're losing. This isn't weakness. This isn't insecurity. This is one of the oldest survival mechanisms in the human brain. And once you understand why it exists, you'll never see comparison the same way again. Here's something nobody tells you. Your brain wasn't built to make you happy. It was built to keep you alive. And for 200,000 years, staying alive meant one thing: knowing exactly where you stood in your group. Are you stronger than the person next to you? Do you have more resources? Are you respected enough that people will share food with you when you're hungry? These weren't vanity questions. They were survival questions. Psychologists call this social comparison theory. In 1954, psychologist Leon Festinger discovered that humans have a fundamental drive to evaluate themselves, not against abstract standards, against other people. Because in the ancestral environment, your ranking within the group directly determined your chances of survival. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all comparison is the same. Your brain runs two completely different comparison systems. The first is upward comparison. You look at someone doing better than you, more successful, more attractive, more accomplished, and your brain registers this as a threat. Not metaphorically, literally. The same neural regions that fire when you encounter physical danger fire when you feel socially outranked. Your cortisol spikes. Your body goes into low-level stress mode. The second is downward comparison. You look at someone doing worse than you, and your brain registers temporary relief. Not pride, not happiness, just relief. Like briefly putting down a heavy bag you didn't know you were carrying. Both systems exist for the same reason: to constantly calculate your position in the social hierarchy. But here's the problem. Your brain evolved for a group of 30 people. People you knew, people you could actually compete with. What happens when you give that same brain Instagram? For 200,000 years, your comparison pool was tiny, maybe 30 to 50 people in your immediate group, and your brain could realistically assess where you stood. Today, your comparison pool is 8 billion people, the most attractive people on Earth, the wealthiest, the most successful, the most talented, all curated, all filtered, all performing the highlight reel of their lives. And your brain, running on hardware built for a village, tries to process all of it. It can't. So it does the only thing it knows how to do. It tells you that you're losing. In 2018, researchers at the University of Pennsylvania conducted a study. They limited participants to 30 minutes of social media per day. After 3 weeks, participants reported significantly lower levels of loneliness and depression. Not because their lives changed, because their comparison pool shrank. But here's where it gets interesting. Here's what makes this so hard to escape. Comparison isn't just a thought, it's a dopamine loop. Every time you check someone's profile, your brain releases a small amount of dopamine. Not because you felt good, because the information was new. Your brain is addicted to social data the same way it gets addicted to any variable reward system. You don't know if the next post will make you feel better or worse, and that uncertainty is exactly what keeps you scrolling. Neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky at Stanford University spent decades studying this. He found that dopamine doesn't spike when you get a reward. It spikes in anticipation of a possible reward. The maybe is more addictive than the yes. So every time you open Instagram, your brain isn't looking for happiness. It's looking for information about where you rank, and it can never get enough. And here's the part that makes it worse. The people you compare yourself to aren't real, not fully. You're comparing your entire life, your bad days, your doubts, your 3 a.m. anxiety, to someone else's highlight reel. You see their promotion, not the 3 years of rejection before it. You see their relationship, not the arguments nobody posts about. You see their body, not the obsessive relationship with food behind it. You are comparing your behind the scenes to their final cut, and your brain doesn't know the difference. So, is there a way out? Here's what the research actually says. Comparison itself isn't the problem. Your brain will always compare. It can't not. The question is what you compare and why. Psychologists distinguish between 2 types of comparison motivation. The first is threat-based comparison. You compare to measure your worth. Am I enough? Am I ahead? Am I winning? This type of comparison always feels empty because there's always someone ahead of you. The second is information-based comparison. You compare to learn. How did they do that? What can I take from their approach? Same behavior, completely different outcome. One leaves you feeling small. The other leaves you with a direction. In 2021, researchers at Ohio State University found that people who used comparison as information rather than judgment reported higher motivation, better performance, and lower anxiety. The brain's comparison system isn't broken. It's just being used for the wrong purpose. But here's the comparison nobody talks about. The most damaging one isn't between you and a stranger on Instagram. It's between you and the imaginary version of yourself. The you that made different choices. The you that started earlier. The you that didn't waste those years. That version of you doesn't exist. It never did. It's a fictional character your brain invented to measure you against. And it will always be ahead of you because it never had to actually live your life. So the next time you close Instagram feeling like you're behind, remember, you're not losing. You're running ancient software in a world that wasn't built for it. And everyone else is too.